Okay, so I don't feel like I'm going to care about Thundercats Raw because I'm not 7 years old and it doesn't look like they're doing that Steven Universe Star versus the Forces of Evil thing where it's actually a show for hipster parents, but it's colorful and moves fast so the kids will like it too. But whatever. Right now I don't care, but if it turns out it's any good, I'm sure someone will let me know. And if it's actually catching on, Cartoon Network is going to show it like 30 times a day all goddamn week. And for fuck's sake, Generation Mine. It's already bad enough that we've done to children's entertainment exactly the same fucking thing our boomer parents did to rock and roll, i.e. stifle innovation and freeze subject matter in amber on our increasingly dated fixations. We can at least let the energy and aesthetics speak to the actual children, can't we? Nobody's telling you you've got to watch it or like it. I'm almost certainly not going to watch it, like I said, and I'm not even a big fan of this particular art style, but if this is the most upsetting goddamn thing you saw recently, I genuinely envy both your naivete, comfortable life, and strongly encourage you to pick up a fucking newspaper. P.S. Yes, I did see some of the 2011 reboot, and, well, I didn't like that very much either. Ambitious, definitely, but I thought it was soul-crushingly dull. My general reaction was, oh no, they're taking this seriously, aren't they? That's a mistake. Did you enjoy it? Fine, you do you. All I saw was a very sincere but fascinatingly wrong-headed attempt to do Avatar with something that had no business aspiring to be Avatar. Look, I was born in 1981, so of course I was there for Thundercats the first time through, and Thundercats was awesome and also dumb as shit. And it worked for the same reason that He-Man and Transformers and Mask and Ninja Turtles and G.I. Joe and all the other dumb as shit but awesome stuff of that era worked. Because at that particular moment in time, once in a while, the weird alchemy of strong, eye-catchy designs meant to stand down on toy store racks, always imitate Star Wars studio mandates, dirt cheap, constantly recycled stock animation, toy company marketing departments with dubious narrative oversight, slumming voice actors with almost no idea of or interest in what they were saying, and starving workaday genre screenwriters cranking out material in sweatshop conditions was occasionally the alchemy that accidentally produced something weird and or memorable, if not technically good in any conventional sense, unless we're talking about, like, the background painters. Those guys usually did good work. Keep in mind, most people remember maybe 10 to 15 tops of the largely interchangeable shows from that era in any kind of detail, and there were a lot more of them. So it's not like that quote-unquote alchemy even worked most of the goddamn time, but that's a whole other thing. Point is, for all the wailing and gnashing of teeth spilling out of the internet man-baby nexus about the shamefully violated honor of the fucking Thundercats, the reason I felt like the last reboot, which, let's be clear here, irrespective of quality, nobody watched, misread the appeal of its subject, is about the same reason why this one doesn't interest me either. There's just no way Raw trying to do jokes and be all Teen Titans Go, goofy, self-aware, and laughing at itself can be possibly funnier than the original Thundercats was, taking its ridiculous premise, characters, and everything else almost seriously. I mean, look at them. Look at them. Look at this shit. Look at what you're butthurt over the epic coolness of. Nothing the new show can come up with is ever going to be funnier than the people making this Zoobly Zoo Goes to Muscle Beach on Popper's horror show thinking they desperately needed to add a pet and some kid sidekicks for comic relief, so we'd know we were supposed to take the blue-gray leather bar Panther Man with nunchucks very seriously. Never mind that a lot of these were already the funny versions of themselves. The original rough outline for Masters of the Universe mythos in the early pack-in comics was much more of a straightforward post-futuristic barbarian fantasy thing with all the lore about Castle Grayskull, Prince Adam, the Sorceress, and the more humorous tone made up for the cartoons by Filmation, so they'd have, like, characters to write to. G.I. Joe went way more sci-fi fantasy than Larry Hammer's original conception for almost all the characters and lore, seemingly to avoid direct connection to politics and real-world military stuff. Original Recipe Cobra was an American domestic terrorist organization, for example. How about that? And perhaps the example, Ninja Turtles, about 80 to 90% of the foundational fanbase for which only ever originally heard of it because the lone, then tiny toy company that the creators managed to sell on the license for their dark, edgy indie comic Frank Miller Daredevil spoof said, to do toys, we're gonna have to make some changes, and that's what got turned into a cartoon, and that's what caught on like gangbusters and became the whole brand. Sure, Thundercats was one of the rare examples where they were setting up the series just prior to the toy line, but a cursory glance at the development history will show you the familiar evolution from high concept to show kids might actually watch. Now, as it comes to the art style thing, trying to convince people to like or not like a visual aesthetic is similar to trying to talk someone into or out of what appeals to them sexually. Sometimes it's the exact same thing. Like stuff, don't like stuff, hate stuff, whatever, but don't be a stupid asshole about it and talk shit about CalArt style like that's a real thing. Shut up, no it's fucking not. It's a stupid goddamn buzzword animation industry insider used to complain about job availability by insinuating people got hired instead of them because of a bias toward a specific school instead of talent. And even if it was a thing, it's ignorant to throw it around here because a bunch of the projects people tend to throw it at are done by people who didn't fucking go to CalArts in the first goddamn place. Never mind the fact that unless you're actually in the animation industry as opposed to just being some fanboy reading cartoon forums on Reddit all day, chances are the only reason you know that particular diss is because of John Crispolucci, who for some reason the internet decided was the first and last word on Western Western comedy animation wisdom based on the apparently sufficient qualifications of creating Ren and Stimpy, barely eking out 2 seasons before getting shit-canned for being a pain in the ass to work with and not being able to hit a deadline to save his life, coasting on pretty much that for 2 decades and using his fame and influence to groom and gaslight young girls. What a guy. But again, whatever, you don't like the puffy people thing? Fine, don't watch the goddamn show. Do you know how many episodes they did of the original Thundercats, by the way? 130. 130 fucking episodes. Holy shit. Season 1 was a 65 episode order. Look that up. Can you even conceive? Shit, this new thing probably won't hit 130 if Cartoon Network keeps it on the air for 5 years. You got a lot of the quote-unquote good version of Thundercats to watch already. But anyway, yeah, don't like the art style? Fine, don't watch it. But if you're gonna dwell on it instead of doing literally anything else, at least spare some thought for why aesthetic trends come into and go out of fashion, beyond the idea that some founding ideal is or isn't being properly respected or is being intentionally debased in some way. The clear appeal of this style to current generation of kids would appear a distinct indicator that formal abstraction and fluid non-angularity are decidedly in, while aspirational human physicality is clearly out, and there's probably a lot of socio-psychological reasons for why that is. On the other hand, it's also true that Occam's razor is a fucking thing, and 80s cartoon heroes all looked like square-jawed muscle men because they were commercials for goddamn action figures that have been manufactured by using a relatively limited variation of plastic molds, so that's also a thing. Where was I going with this? Yeah, whatever. Let the kids have their fucking cartoon. God damn it. Hey gang, here's a question that keeps coming up. If your handle is MOVIEBOB, where are your movie reviews? Well, my old reviews are in a lot of places. You'll find many of them on my YouTube channel, but you'll find the brand new ones on Geek.com, an awesome site that's also your one-stop news source for science, TV, gaming, technology, nerd culture, the works. You can find all my reviews directly by going to geek.com/author/bchipman, because that's my real name, and you can get regular updates on all my reviews and all of Geek.com's other great content by signing up for their kick-ass newsletter at subscribe.geek.com. And don't forget to also subscribe to the Geek.com YouTube channel, where you'll find the videos that accompany my reviews and tons of other great content too. Remember, that's Geek.com, the Geek.com newsletter, and Geek.com on YouTube. Make sure you don't miss out on all the latest MOVIEBOB reviews. You can also check out my own new website, MOVIEBOB Central, where you'll find my blog, links to all my work, and shop for my books, ebooks, and future MOVIEBOB products. And please remember to like these videos, share them with all of your friends, and subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching another MOVIEBOB production.